Hey everyone, this week's video is going to be a little bit different. I'm going to still try to review a book by the end of this week, but I just didn't have the time for today, and I also wanted to put out this video before the next review. I just wanted to talk about some of my favorite books that I own, as in like a physical copy. That doesn't necessarily mean my favorite books of all time. It's just my favorite copies that I own for different sentimental reasons or cool covers, whatever. But these are books that I own and that I have in my possession here in the US, not back at my mother's apartment. So first off, one of my favorite books and like sagas are the Mistborn books by Brandon Sanderson. I was gifted the first 3 books by my uncle who lives in Germany. For those of you who don't know, I'm from Bolivia, and back in Bolivia we don't really have access to English books as easily as you would in the US for obvious reasons. And so it was always really nice when he would come back from Germany or the US or something to visit, and he would bring me books and lots of chocolates, but that's something else. And well, he was reading Mistborn, the first book, and I asked him what it was about, and he told me all about it, about Brandon Sanderson and the Wheel of Time, and I just wanted to read it after everything he told me. So he left a copy of the first book behind for me to read, and I demolished that book. That's probably the longest book, because it's a pretty thick book. It's, a fantasy book. I demolished that book. But anyway, if I had that book with me, I would definitely have that as number 1. I love that copy that I have. That was a gift to me. It was one of my first books that I owned that I also really loved. However, I do have this UK cover of The Alloy of Law. That was also a gift from him after I finished the first trilogy. And I'm not as big a fan of this second trilogy as the first one, but I still think it's amazing, and Brandon is still an excellent writer. But this is the first time I encountered the UK covers, and man, I'm so jealous of anyone with the UK covers, because these are fantastic compared to the US ones. This is, I don't know, it's beautiful, it's perfect. It's the best kind of paperback book ever. Anyway, oh look, I have a bunch of 4-leaf clovers stuck in there as a bookmark. But anyway, my second book that I adore, me and my brother managed to get a copy of this book called The Languages of Tolkien and Middle-earth, written by Ruth Knoll. This book is what made me fall in love with linguistics and with language in general. I read through it and fell in love with all things Tolkien thanks to it. I read this book before I even read the trilogy or The Hobbit, and I think it's amazing. It's just so fascinating to look at how Tolkien created his languages, and how he managed to create such a rich world thanks to these languages that he came up with. My next book is a book that you guys should be familiar with, and it's this copy of Feed. Like I said, this is my all-time favorite book, LOTR. You can check out my review for it. The reason why I like this book so much, other than it being my favorite book, is that this copy has gone through hell. If you can tell, it's like all mushed up and with wet pages. I mean, they're dry now, but they were wet. And so my apartment flooded last year because of my neighbor had a pipe issue, and it flooded all the floor around my bookshelf. And the only book that got damaged, thankfully, thankfully it was only one, but was this copy of Feed. And I was very sad because it's my favorite book, and honestly, I like it even more now. It has a little story to it, and it's a survivor, and I love it. Yeah, it's something I'll always treasure and remember fondly. Yeah. The next book is one of my favorite books that I somehow only recently finished back in November last year. Last summer, I decided to read a bunch of Kurt Vonnegut for the first time. I had always really wanted to, but just never had a chance or never had a copy. So I bought 3 books of his. Thank You, Mr. Rosewater, Cat's Cradle, and Slaughterhouse-Five. I have not been able to finish Thank You, Mr. Rosewater, but I did finish Cat's Cradle and Slaughterhouse-Five, and man, is this cover amazing. I love how simplistic it is. They're all really pretty. They're all this style too. So what I like is they're very collectible, I feel like. I've always enjoyed dark humor and satire, and Vonnegut is a genius. I don't know. It reminds me so much of Catch-22 and just books that follow that kind of aesthetic. A lot of Chuck Palahniuk, however you pronounce that last name, because I don't think even he knows how to pronounce his own last name. But it's very similar to Fight Club, very similar to, not as dark as Fight Club, but it's just satirical. It's funny. I loved it. I love this copy. I hope to one day have all of his books in this style for my bookshelf. The next one was a Christmas present. And this book is beautiful. I don't know. It's an H.P. Lovecraft anthology. And as problematic as he is, this book is the most beautiful gift I have ever been given. It's got the golden pages. It's got a little bookmark. Came with a poster right now. I haven't gotten to tape it out because I'm afraid I'll rip out this paper thing. But yeah, it's like such a beautiful style. I don't know. I love it. I'm one of the this is why I dislike hardcovers. I feel like they're not as durable as paperbacks, and I am afraid of reading this book because I don't want to damage it. It is so beautiful. I just want to lock it up and display it in a little glass thing. And I think my last, I don't have all my books here. Like I said, a lot of my books are back in Bolivia with my mom. Hopefully not in boxes, but maybe they're in boxes. I don't know. But this was the first books I bought here in the US, and I had a whole bookshelf for these because they were everything I had. And it's this collection of the Lord of the Rings. They are tiny leather bound, or fake leather copies. This is the Hobbit. It's just so beautiful. I don't know. Look at this map. Just come on. It's fantastic. They're like pocket size if you have big pockets. They're just so beautiful. I meant to reread all of them. I only got to the Two Towers. I didn't finish The Return of the King back when I first bought these. But I don't know what else to say. And I keep with them this bookmark that was given to me by a friend who left to Korea from Bolivia, and she gave me this bookmark as a little gift, you know. And I always keep it with this because I just treasure it so much. But yeah, I think those are all my favorite copies of books that I own. I'm honestly very proud of how big my collection of books has gotten here. I guess it's just part of being an English major and enjoying reading. You just collect books. And I growing up in a country where you don't have access to books the way you do in the US, like, just it's so beautiful. You guys don't understand how amazing it is to just be able to open your computer, go to a plethora of websites and order a book and have it delivered to you that same week. It's, you know, I cry when I think about it. But yeah, I'm probably gonna review something hopefully by Friday. I am currently doing a lot of work for school, so it's just been really busy. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you like the video and leave comments and subscribe and help me improve, because this is all new to me and I'm enjoying it a lot, but I want to be better. I hope you're able to enjoy my appreciation for my books and random things, and watching me get weirdly emotional about dead trees. Have a nice week, and I'll see you in my next video.